Okie dokie. Restream's on. What about Twitch? What's Restream say? Does Restream think Twitch is on? I think so. Yeah, we're on Twitch, and I'm sure YouTube is following. Hey everybody, welcome to Code Hangout number 261. Today I'm going to continue the game. I call it GameJam, but it's just me on my own. It's nothing official. I'm just jamming a little bit on some old project from 96, 97, and as an excuse to kind of fiddle around with Godot a little bit. And this is what we got to last time. We kind of looked into the basics of how the map system works and animating a sprite and things like that. I think the first step I want to do today is actually make the thing move around. And one of the sort of most important aspects of the original... Oh, there it was. If I just search for Xenocide. 97, yeah. So this is the original game that I wrote in Pascal at the time and assembly. And this is just running inside DOSBox. But I actually want to port the movement code from this, because the movement was what really made this thing interesting. Although we might have to tweak it a little bit, because I don't know if I want it as an infinite scroller or how I want to run it. Ooh, can I slow down? Ooh, yeah. I also, I have, I don't know, a couple years ago, ported some of this movement code to JavaScript. Let's see if we can find it quickly. I think it's under my pens. I think there should be something, a collection for Xenocide stuff. I think Retroside. And at the time I was kind of thinking about like a multiplayer thing, so I was... no. Retroside is the original one. Xenocide Academy is the card game. Xenocide Infinite, that was the sort of infinite scroller multiplayer version. But specifically, I want to look at just the movement prototype, which I believe is this one. So if we look at the JavaScript code in here, it should have the basic formula in here. Let's find it. Let's find it. I think I ported some of the Pascal code into this. Oh yeah, the animation system. Huh, look at that. All right. Ship thing extends thing. So ship thing, yeah, we have the velocity, we have the acceleration, and then basically I think it just does a little, let me see. So it just does a angular to Cartesian. Hey Keith, how are you doing? Yeah, we're doing all right. We're doing all right. Yeah, so I went to the vet on Sunday. We had that very fuzzy sort of ultrasound. We couldn't get an appointment till Friday, so Friday had a more detailed ultrasound done, and it looked clear, and we hadn't seen any more blood. So for now, there isn't anything specific that we have to worry about. We also sent off some samples, some urine samples, to a lab in Germany, which is what they do around here, and it also looked all right. And he has another, I think tomorrow in the morning, he has another ultrasound for his heart condition. But other than that, right now, I don't think there's much we can do. It doesn't look like it's like a tumor or anything specific right now. It doesn't look like it's an infection either. So we don't know exactly. It could have been nothing. It could have been just like spontaneous internal bleed that was small and meant nothing. But we're definitely going to look for things. But we didn't find anything problematic or anything serious that we need to worry about at the moment. But we also didn't find exactly why it happened, and we can't fully dismiss it. So it's a little bit of a, you know, it's better than finding a bad problem, but it's not so good as finding a specific problem that you can treat, you know. All right, so this is just doing some limitation for max speed and so on. It does, you know, angular velocity conversion stuff. But it doesn't actually do the movement from going from the mouse coordinates. So let's find where that happens. So let me just collapse this code a little bit. So ship thing is the thing that's the player character basically. Clutter thing are the things that are flying around. We have a thing cache, and we have the things, and a registry for things. All right. We have a server connection. We have a server client, and we have a GUI. All right. Input handler. Okay. So accelerate ship. Acceleration 100, acceleration, handle input change, input. Handle input change. Handle input change. And the camera is also going to be quite important. I don't think we want to care about the server stuff. Exit pointer lock and change handle input change. Handle input change, input. Input delta X, delta Y. This is a bit weird. Input dot on change. What is this input object? Where does this even come from? Input, engage pointer lock. Input. Touch input handler. Input. Input. We have an actual input object. Okay, look at us being all organized and all that. No wonder I couldn't find it. I didn't expect to have been so organized already. Yeah, here we go. Input. Ah, okay. Mouse compensation. Yeah, because this was a prototype for networking, so it has a lot of code we're not going to need for single player stuff. So, mouse pointer log. Mouse and mouse move. Mouse compensation 1. Mouse movement X, movement Y. Handle mouse move. Movement X, movement Y. Is that actually part of the event? I guess so, huh? All right, so we're just getting delta X, delta Y's from the input. And then if we go down here, input. So dot delta X. Sure. Okay, so we're just taking the delta X and multiplying it by acceleration. So I think this is literally just true or false. No, you can definitely go more or less. Yeah, so one of the things is about the mouse controls that basically the ship is floating, and I think there might be a minor dampening. No, there isn't. Actually, it keeps moving, right? And the more I drag the mouse, the more I accelerate. But it's only relative to the previous, so you kind of have to recenter the mouse. I like the movement, but I'm open to changing that. So, yeah. No news is good news in this case. I guess we're gonna look up. Well, I always wanted to have it be controller based. So I think before we go to on-screen controls, I wonder, like, I'd love to have it be more mainstream, sort of have work with a controller, you know, touchscreen buttons, all that sort of stuff. So touchscreen button node as a child of cameras layer. On-screen controls X in X. So good. What the heck is so good? Is that already an open source Godot thing? Godot for iPhone. How is that different from Godot? Is it compatible with Godot? Interesting. All right. Okay, Godot controls. There must be some sort of generic Godot control setup, right? Basically, for all your related nodes, controls features a bounding vector that defines its extent and nodes potentially related with its parent control. Current view. Because I'll probably just start off with like cursor keys or something. So is there a tutorial? GUI. I don't really want GUI. I want controls. Canvas item. Why does this refer to drawing when I'm looking for input? I don't quite understand. Mouse filter. Pretty much such as by checking Z order mouse filter focus on the events inside the control's bounding box. All chat must become node input for your elements. Only one control node can be in focus. Only the node in focus will receive events. To get the focus, call grab focus. Base class for all UI related nodes. Oh, control as in UI. Okay, so we might be looking for input instead. Input handling. Input examples. Event versus polling. Okay. I also want to look into like scene loading and stuff like that. I want to have like a basic start screen. Getting started, introduction, step by step. Introduction to Godot. How does it work? And look, program languages, learn to code in GDScript, overview Godot's key concepts. Scenes. All right. So we want to load a scene that represents our main menu. So I think we're just going to create a scene, right? We're going to call this, can I rename the scene? Can I? Maybe user interface. Actually, let's just look this up. Start screen. Like, I guess it's not really user input. It would be a 2D. Yeah, let's do a title screen. Let's do a simple title screen. So, okay, so I guess a title screen might have some sort of menu, and it'll have to listen to input. Okay, so I don't care what it looks like. Sign the menu, break down the UI mockup. Sure. So new scene. We have to add a root node before we can save. Your UI's root node should be the outermost content or element. It's a margin container. Margin is a good starting point for most interface. So if I say other node, and I call it a margin container, what the heck is that? It's a good starting point for most interfaces, as you often need padding for the UI. Press Meta S to save the scene to the disk. Name it main menu. Okay, so if I Control S, this main menu. Let's lowercase it. Yeah, I think ultimately we're going to want to lowercase these just to keep things simple. All right. I'm going to make this a little narrower so I can... Oh, can I get rid of inspector? No, probably not. Maybe I'll make this a little narrow as well. So then, yeah, that wasn't overlapping so badly. Well, the engine is called Godot. Actually, how do you pronounce engine Godot? I don't know if it's Godot or Godot. Pronounce Godot as Godot. Okay, so it is Godot. Yeah, it is. It's a reference to the novel and the play, I suppose. Define the margin size. Scroll down to the control. So margin. Scroll again. Head to the inspector and define the margin size. Wait, margin container. Right. Margin. So go to control class. What do you mean control class? New scene, margin container. Is a good starting point for often needs padding around the UI. Select the margin container again. Head to the inspector to find the margin size. Scroll down to the control class. Oh, here we go. Okay. Unfold it. Select the margins as such. So I don't see margins. I see layout. Custom min im minim maxim. Transform container sizing. Set the margins. Okay, where do I set margins? It doesn't say anything about margins here. It says container sizing. Themes. Where do I find these margins? This node doesn't have a control parent. Use appropriate layout properties depending on where you are going to put the UI. In this case, it's a margin container. Add a root node before we can save the scene. We have to add it. Your UI's root should be the uttermost container or element. In this case, it's a margin container. Okay. But here it says, use separate layout properties depending on where you're going to put it. Have a control parent. Godot margin container message. This does not have a control parent. On margin containers. It's much because your margin container, another control, is placed directly under a 2D or 3D node. Like, no, it's go to the two separate layout engines in game. No, come on, it's actually the root and only node in this scene, whereas the tutorial did not specify any other nodes. The absolute node Godot still throws this warning because it does not have a parent node to tell you how large it should be. It defaults to its minimum size. Fixes follow along with this your tutorial. You need to tell the root container to fill your game window. What do you mean? So let's go back again. Before we jump into the editor, we want to plan how we want to nest containers based on our mockup image. So design attached a main menu, a game UI with a health bar, energy bar, okay. If you learn how to design game UI efficiently, okay, sure. Download the project files, UI main menu design zip, and extract the archive. Import the start project and follow this tutorial. The end file comes to the final result. You'll find all the sprites in main menu for now. Design a good UI. Okay, sure. We have a design, yada yada, don't care. May not work as well. You like to throw part away and redesign components as you go. When you're sure everything works, it's easy to make some parts reusable. See below. Sure. Ever save some branch or reusable scenes. Build template scenes for reusable components. So we have title, version, PNG. Okay, so just PNG files. Sure. 3 rules of thumb. Break down the UI into nested boxes from the largest that contains everything to the smallest ones that encompass one widget like a bar and its label or panel or a button. Okay. If there's some padding around an area, use a margin container. If there's some fly in here. If there's element arranged in rows of columns, use HBox and VBox container. Okay. That's really not my worry at the moment. For main menu, large box is the entire game window. There's padding between the edges of the window. The first component, this should be a margin container. But the largest box is the entire game window. Then the scene is split into 2 box columns, so we'll use a HBox container. Okay, yeah. Prepare the main menu scene. We create the main menu. We built in a single scene to create an empty scene. Click on the blah. Okay, so far I'm still seeing just margin container, nothing else. I still don't see margins listed here. Minimum size, custom maximum size, minimum size, propagate minimum size, clip contents. So we want the containers to fit the window. In the viewport, open the layout menu and select the last option, full rect. So wait. We want the container to fit the window in the viewport. So we have layout. Fit the window in the viewport. Where's the viewport? Open the layout menu. In the viewport. In Godot, what is the viewport? Viewport goes canvas or rendering surface that projects your game world into your screen. Act as a portal or camera. Okay. Wait, how do I get one? Size itself according to the project. But this one, I don't have a viewport. Using viewports. Think of future as a screen onto which the game is projected. In order to see the game, we need to have a surface on which to draw. The surface is the root viewport. So this is so far... Okay, I'm going to quickly download the zip and just look at the end folder, what's in there. Because this seems to be a little silly. So the end... Can I just open that in here? Can I just do that? Can I just open that? Ah, here we go. No. Main menu. Uh-oh. Did I just overwrite my own file? Yeah, that's fine. Oh, okay. So main menu here is what kind of thing? Main menu. Inspector, main menu. So they did start with the margin container. So I don't understand. How do I get rid of this? 2D. Here we go. So, because if I go back to here, and I look at these instructions, right? It's talking about... Oh my god. Alright, it's talking about... I'm gonna have to do this so I can see both side by side. It's talking about margins, which I don't see in here. I don't see any margins set. I don't see any size set. Where's the margin? None of this is anything here. It says propagate maximum size. All right. This is the thing that drives me nuts, right? They talk about these. Use the set the margins such as it custom to the custom. Scroll down the control class. Okay. Custom constants. Where? Margin container is a good starting point for it. Name it main menu. Okay. Head to the inspector to find the margin size. Scroll down the control class. Okay. Unfold it. Set the margins as such. Okay. All right. I'm gonna play dumb here and ask Gemini again. So, like, this is the sort of thing an AI might be helpful. As rare as that is, we'll see. They've run the classic version of the tutorial you're following was written for Godot 3, but you're likely using Godot 4. The UI layout sections were reorganized. Great, yay, all right, that's so dumb. Godot 4 start screen. Okay, I don't want a YouTube video if that's at all possible. What does it say? Select the margin container node. Look over the spectrum panel to the right. Scroll down until you find the theme overrides. Jesus Christ. Ah, well, that's dumb. All right. I don't like this because this is a bunch of stuff that we don't actually need. I also don't know if this... Okay, I'm trying to remember. Last time we had some tutorial text open and... I need to find where... If I left them open. I have so many browser windows open. My god. I don't even know what any of those are. A lot of them are like contracts and spreadsheets that I can't really open on stream, I'm afraid. Yeah, look at that. Don't even need that. Game stuff. I shouldn't be mixing and matching, and last time I think we were working from some sort of tutorial. Let me go to the Godot website and see if there's like an official starter getting started thing. First 2D game, contents, setting up the project, creating a player scene, coding the player, main game screen. Head-up display, finishing up. Sound effects, starting the finishing with others. Get ready. Okay, your first 3 games. Okay. What about like a start screen or something like that? The main game scene. Main script. Rendering, scripting, shaders, user interface. UI building blocks, your skin themes, controls, node structure. I still understand the word control doesn't seem to be referring to controls. I still, to this day, don't know what a control node is. If you want to change the color of the text or the alignment, you can only do that in the entire label. Okay. Okay, that's absolutely not useful. Like here, it says control node tutorials. I click on it and it just pops open. So that's the only control node tutorial that exists. And I'm guessing controls here mean UI controls, like an input control, not a controller game control, which is really weird terminology. Navigation. Okay, that's like map navigation, not navigation through an app. 2D, this is movement, canvas layer, introduction to 2D, viewport, canvas transform, rendering, assets pipeline. Yeah, they don't have like the basic structure of a Godot game, even under user interface, UI building blocks maybe, size and anchors, using containers, custom GUI controls, control node gallery. Getting started. All right. Let's see, Godot tutorial. I really don't want to just go through a boring tutorial, but it's so dense to me that like, hey, I want a, you know, a hello world thing, a screen with the words hello world on it. Like, you can't find that. That's ridiculous. No, not loud YouTube videos that are gonna blow my ears out. All right. Let's have something else, right? So we have 2 scenes right now. We have the player character and we have the map. The map has the player character in it. Now, I believe in the project settings somewhere it says main scene map. Okay. So if I create a new scene, and I'll say, if I say it's a user interface, it starts with a control node. Now, how is that different? Like, what is a control node even? How is this different from a margin control, for example, or margin container? Base class for all GUI controls. Adapts its position and size based on its parent control. Godot, what is the best root node for a start screen? This is a standard control node, or one of its container derivatives like margin container, because start screens are made entirely of user interface UI elements. Control nodes, I mean, everything is a user interface, so it's like support features like resizing, anchoring, container and layout containers. Like, for example, if I wanted a start screen that has a scene in it, all right. That's one thing I don't like about engines, is that they have this presumption about things that aren't correct at all, like 0 correct. And you just have to learn this arbitrary presumption instead of giving you a toolkit to do whatever you want to do. Or at least presenting the toolkit as a toolkit instead of presuming, oh, clearly you got to do X, when clearly you don't have to do X at all. All right. Highly effective for professional here. Start screen follows this structure. Margin container. All right. So if I do delete, other node, margin container. Okay. Can I close the dock? How do I close this and go back to 2D? Let's say. I don't know what this green blob thing is. I don't know what this is. Is this the margin container? I don't know. Okay. Go to margin container. What is the green blob? Yeah, stuff like this. Like, what is it? Why not hover over it? Doesn't it tell me? Oh, use this to set margins or resize or whatever. Go to things. The anchor icon often appearing to 4 green pins on a marker that Godot uses for user interface elements. It tells the engine how your element should be positioned and scaled on the screen arena resize. What things do? Prints mark the reference point for the edges of your margin container. Ensure your user interface, blah blah blah. If your anchor or elements on the top right corner, it will stay in the top right corner, even if the placer is the... Okay. Can I do this? So if I do this, and now I say run, and I do... Ah, wait. We want to save this scene as main menu, and then we want to change project settings to... No. Main menu. Okay, and now if we run... Okay. Okay. So I can resize it like this. Oh, can I resize it like this? Okay. Okay. So, margin container. Okay. How can I set a margin container so that it always fills the entire window? To make a margin container fill the entire window, you need to set its anchors to cover the full screen. Here's how to do it. Select a margin container node. Look at the toolbar at the very top of the 2D viewport. Okay. Click the anchor preset button. It looks like a small green icon next to snap. Small green icon next to snap. Green icon. Preset for the anchor in the offset horizontal control node. If I do this. Okay. Now, why did it resize this part and not the little green thingies? So now if I run and resize, it still doesn't do that. Okay, there's a snap. Select the full rect. The inner padding. The full rect to select the green anchor pins will snap to all 4 corners of your code. To add padding to your... Yeah. Does not work. If I resize a window, I still a fixed gray box floating in blackness. If you applied full rect and it's still floating as a fixed box surrounded by blackness, it means something above your margin container. The scene is empty, comma, just contains margin container, and I have done nothing else yet. So what does it claim I've done? Project settings aren't handling resize. Scale. Ask about what? Space is an empty black border rather than stretching your game. Project settings. Display. Oh, display. Window. Scroll down to stretch section. Stretch section. How do I scroll down? Okay, stretch mode. Change mode from disabled to canvas items. Change aspect to expand. Okay, close. Now if I run, does this now? Nope, doesn't do it, nothing. Aspect to expand. State stale offsets are locking in. Sometimes when you apply full rect left over, pixel values remain stuck in the position settings. Set your margin container, look at the inspector right side. Under the layout section, section open offsets. Offsets, there's the offsets. Under layout, section, there's no offsets. Ah, no, wait, I'm looking under layout. Open offsets. There is no offsets under layout. Change your scene structure to look like this. Why do you want me to change my scene structure when all tutorials and even you recommend just the margin container? That's the problem. Layout section, change the layout mode from anchors to position. From anchors from what? From anchors, change the layout mode. There is no layout mode. What layout mode? Layout section. Layout mode. Layout mode is currently layout mode is uncontrolled and I cannot change it. Realize enter on a parent node to tell you how big full is, because your margin container is the absolute root of the scene that has no parent. When you click full right, Godot has no reference size to snap to it. So any default size, the gray box. I said you do not need to add other nodes. You just need to tell Godot that this specific unit should automatically stretch to fill the game. Project settings top left. Project settings top left. Scroll row display window. Scroll down to the section stretch section. We already did that. Mode disabled to canvas items. Mode is canvas item. We did the stretch section thing already. Controls actually settings for root nodes. The editor locks that drop down because your margin has no parent node. Isn't filling the screen. That comes down to how anchors work on root node. Anchor mode, fill the screen. Margin container, inspector layout. Layers are expand anchors. Set reset to full rect. This isn't already. Top left, right, bottom. I have a feeling it's chasing me around. Right, top. So, in the anchor points submenu, right below it. Set, okay, where we're looking. Layout section. Set. Look at the inspector. Right. Layout section, expand anchors. There is no anchors to expand. Just an anchors preset. Oh, my mistake again. Okay, can you make no mistakes? Or hidden by default when a node is the root. Reveal the manual anchors and offset settings. You have to do. Okay, stop. You are sending me pages of BS and it's wrong over and over. Give me a single, simple, minimal set of instructions of how to have a simple scene with only a single margin container that stretches to fill the window. Nothing else, no workarounds, just the simple, correct settings. Because this AI is dumb. It's trying to fix a problem when there's no problem. Select root margin container, inspector right side, anchor presets, drop down, select full rect. In window settings, done stretch, aspect to expand, done that, done that. The empty container is invisible, collapses in the editor, you must run it to see the default. Maximize to drag the resize, look at the L-Org selection box lines. So if I do F5 and maximize, 3D. Input. So, 6 to run. Wait, F6, not F5. Look at the yellow-orange selection box lines. The content is perfectly filled. There are no yellow or orange lines. There are no lines. We did not add any lines. What are you talking about? Okay, add child node. What do you want? My color rect. All right. Add child node, color rect. Okay. F6. Nope. It is a fixed rectangle that doesn't stretch to fill the window. Does not automatically track the live window dimensions because there's no parent telling it to stretch. So you can stretch perfectly with the window. You only need to add 2 line builds in script. Why do none of the tutorials mention this and expect it to function without? I don't understand. Except to function without the script because you're testing the scene by running the whole project, not just isolated UI scene on its own. No, there is no difference between F5 or F6. If you did the stretch section thing already and it's still a fixed rectangle, then you tested the child node itself is what is failing to stretch that because margin container. Automatically clicking full rect on the root container only stretches the container. It doesn't force the children to grow unless a specific size of flats are turned on. Okay, so margin container, inspect the right side, layout section. Fill the scene. Color rector panel underneath. In the inspector, open the layout section. Alright. Layout mode. Layout section. Container sizing submenu. Okay. Fill. Fill and expand. They are both set to fill. There is no expand in the menu. So open project settings, display window, blah blah blah. Display window. Look at the size section at the top. Scroll down to the stretch section. Stretch mode. Canvas item. Stretch item. Expect to expand. We have set these settings 5 times now. They don't magically change. Project instance. Reset the container size. Go to the layout section. Enter anchors preset. Layout section. Click anchors preset. Full rect again. Is this full rect? I don't know. Recalculate based on the new numbers. There's no new numbers. Top toolbar of the 2D viewport. While select the margin, look at the top toolbar of the 2D viewport. Click the Reset Selected Node Offset button. It looks like a small circular refresh arrow next to the Anchor Preset button. Rotate mode, no. Click the reset select node offsets button. Circular refresh arrow. There is no small circular. There's this. Oh, what happened? The only circular icon is the rotate one. There's no other icon here. I'm completely wrong. Button location or into button necessary. Here's a single direct reason. Stuck is a fixed rate. Why is this happening? Control node is an absolute root of a scene. Go disables layout logic. The engine forces. Why did you not tell me this sooner? Why did you not tell me this sooner? And why are all the tutorials out there wrong? Okay, I'm sorry. Right now I'm just beating this AI because I'm annoyed with AIs being stupid. They can't help themselves. If I probably would just run through a tutorial from scratch. But to be honest, in Unity I had a similar experience that the documentation just isn't documentation. It's like, hey, if you do these 3 things, you get this output. Okay, but what if I don't want this output? Well, sucks to be you, you know? No, come on. I even downloaded the tutorial files, and the margin container is the root node. Exactly why you're getting the fixed box. And so exact tutorial files, the root margin has a size property line and hardcode to a fixed resolution. No, come on, I am not using it. I downloaded it to confirm whether the margin container node was the root node, because I was getting frustrated. You dumbass. The absolute minimal fix. When your margin container is the root node of the scene, it looks to your space project resolution. Does not resize the root control node's box. It treats the root box as a fixed rigid frame. How do other games work then? Can you find me a good tutorial then that explains this? All I wanted to do is a empty game with just a start screen, and I wasted an hour on this already. I mean, that's not entirely true, but you know. Then I'll go down. It's user interface written Godot docs, making responsive UI tutorial, clears how things, canvas layer nodes, and control anchors interact. But I just want a regular /start screen without any UI or anything. Just a placeholder to see how it works. Oh my god. Set mode to aspect keep current project settings. You only need to change 3 lines. They're not exactly right. Your year will stay a fixed box. My god, this is so dumb. You just want a complete regular full screen placeholder splash screen with your 0 code, 0 extra nodes, no UI layout. You shouldn't use a branching code at all. It's specifically text buttons that need edge padding. The right node. Add child node. Add a call rect. User interface or just plain control node. User interface and control node as the root. All right, let's delete that. let's do user interface. Right. We have a control node, layout, full rect. Does that do the thing? I don't know, I can resize this sometimes. Control node. Okay, add child node, color rect, layout, transform, no, position anchors, full rect, 5. Oh, yeah, as expected. I added a control node and a color rect, and same thing. No, they don't fill the screen. Why do you lie to me? Select your anchor preset. The color rect is anchor preset full rect and fills the control. But control does not fill the app window. Oh my god. Force a pure UI scene to automatically fill and enter Windows during resize. You must bypass this to one of the 2 industry standard structural setups. Preferred way to build standalone splash screens and main menus in Godot. Okay, why are you telling me this now, comma, wasting an hour of my time? Why is it different now and not than before? Did you want to waste my time? What a dumb piece of crap. The tutorials you watch weren't lying, but they skipped the crucial detail. They likely had their project window set to... I cannot believe you anymore. Show the references. A lot of the anchor presets are your friends. Use nodes to detach from control. Show your config container sizes, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, like even these links don't show that it's wrong. The root UI node restriction physical size anchors is we state that the anchor point present is just relative. Yeah, it's always going to be run the same device, same resolution, positioning control. Simple matter of setting the position size, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The UI hierarchy best practices, UI blueprint guide, 2 sentence margin or control node sits at the absolute top of your scene or Godot's engine. It doesn't even sit at the top. It's a centered rectangle, and the linked pages don't mention what you claim. Right click your root node and center contain. My god. According to Godot, country your GitHub issue board, layout changes like change size position the moment you of call and don't handle any future control changes. When you use the editor. So what does it actually say? I've been working on a learning project, blah blah blah. Seems to be something that's completely obvious to other people, but no one has bothered to actually write down, and a quick summary would be very appreciated. Node property seems completely layout mode control node. Internal properties don't have any documentation because they're not real properties of the object. They are editor-only properties. I'd not worry about the layout mode too much. Its use case is a very limited layout mode. Lets you choose how the controller position sized. So when the control is a child of another control that is not a container. If there's a container, then the control node will force the container, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now that doesn't mean anything. Right-click your root node and enter a center container. Drag your existing rectangle node to sit inside the center container. But the root node isn't resizing. What are you talking about, you dumbass? It says the root node itself is what refused to resize. That's the single fundamental point we've been clashing over. When your game runs, the engine changes the size of the outer application window, but it completely refused to touch the size of the root control node box. It leaves the root node locked to base size, which acts like the tiny and moving picture frame. Works for the journal without them doing anything about it. Okay, project settings, window display window. Now, I was supposing it should have been viewport a long time ago. Yeah, no, it doesn't make a difference. No change. And even if viewport is correct, well, why did you not tell me to try it before? Like, it doesn't seem like it knows anything. It's just guessing. I don't know. It's like I'm literally where I would have been if I wouldn't have read any tutorials, any documentation, and I've just read the menu items. Like, systemd grow f requires the... This has nothing to do with any of it. Like, these are all terrible. Still showed zero change. It proves that the transform size of your root node, your project window space with an explicit mismatch. Scale it. Finally, if you want to stand on a splash screen, place that works perfectly, you must completely bypass the locked root node. This is the exact lateral four-step blueprint used by real games. Right-click on the root node, select change type. Basic node. Okay. Change type. Node. Change. Change type. Change it to node. Right-click on the new node, choose Add Child Node Canvas Layer. Add Child Node Canvas Layer. Okay. And then put that on here. All right. Now, select the blah, blah, blah. Anchor preset full rect. Yep. Why is this on prefer? Okay, so let's see. Boom. Yeah, no surprise. No surprise. Come on. This doesn't work at all. You're just trying every possibility. Maintains its position of works, but it kind of stays in the fixed position on the screen. So if I do this, and I say F5, nope. And to guess or throw another setting at you, it's completely safe. You're not believing me. I have given. And let's make it smaller. Let's say 640 by 400. And center of primary screen. Okay, sure. Resizable on. Borderless on. Almost a top transparent, extend to title, no focus. Okay. Stretch mode, viewport, expand. Scale 4. Sure. So, F5. Now it's smaller. Will it grow bigger? No. Fixed size, stretch to fit. In the run window, there is a 3-dot menu with fixed size as well as stretch to fit. How does this relate to the compiled running game, as it won't have that menu? Reader editor is temporary tool meant to control how Godot simulates Windows testing within the editor itself. It's essentially shipped stripped away and export your... Yeah. It translates to a final compiled product. Stretch to fit is the actual game real-world simulator. Stretch to fit instructs the editor to act exactly like a real standalone computer window. This is so weird. It kind of jumps around. Well, come on, it was set to fixed size. I changed it to stretch to fit, and it now changes size. But the white box still doesn't match the window with black edge around, and that edge changes weirdly as I resize the window. No, comma, black borders are in all 4 size, and aspect ratio of the white area changes to where black borders appear on all 4 sides once, while the shift size means you have integer scaling turned on in your projects. To only multiply your viewport size for whole numbers like 2 or 4 exactly. Okay. Okay. Well, I want a pixel art game with integer scaling, but I might misunderstand how that works. So I guess, okay, so it isn't until it can scale by 4 pixels or something. Scroll down the scratch section, scale mode property. All right, let's go back to the, well, to be honest, let's see. Let's get some sort of pixel art asset. Not this one. Let's find something from the Xenocide Retro, like a pixelated screenshot. Just some stand-in, so we know, hey, it is a limited number of pixels. Maybe this one. So it's 320 by 200, right? So canvas layer, add child node, image, picture. How can I add a simple picture? Texture, text. Texture direct. Boom. All right. Texture rect. Texture, blah, blah, blah. It's now, let's get rid of that. It should be here. And then I should be able to do that. And then I should say fit width, fit height. No. Nor size, scale. Scale. Layout. Full rect. Boom. So if we do this now. Oh, it breaks aspect. Ah, wait. What if I say keep size? No. Scale. Keep aspect. Ah. Ah. Okay. So we have integer scaling like that. So it kind of jumps. Okay. All right. This makes more sense now. Now, do I want the aspect to be fixed? Probably. Also, this is lower resolution than it should be. Is it because of the 4x? So if I change it to 1x. No. Or is the resolution actually this low? No. It's definitely not that low. Or is it? Wait a second. Can I drag an image on here? Like if I click that, right, and I can say something like image rendered and pixelated, right? Yeah, it's definitely high resolution. Okay, so what the heck? It's showing the sprite in much lower res than it is. Perhaps 4:1 or so. Vector canvas item. So if I go keep aspect, vector canvas item, expand texture, filter repeat, inherit to nearest, whoop, repeat, inherit. Okay, so if I go back to here, yeah, no, that's not right. So classic consequence of how integer scaling handles small assets. Because you turn on integer scaling strictly forbids rendering any texture at the decimal scale. Game for is small, like a resolution code will force or downscale the image to the clean factor 4x, so it make it mathematically fit your canvas. So let's double check. So that's 40. So the image is 320x200. The canvas is 640x400, but it is allowed to scale much bigger. Well, it's much bigger. Why would it show the image at 160x100 or 80x50? Looks like it's been crushed down to is because Go's default texture rect size and logic combined with integer scaling. Locks texture rect when you place it inside it's twice as big. Internal integer scaling. Go's layout system undergoes a severe math conflict. Well, that's fucking stupid. To fill the screen properly, adjust the following settings. Texture rect. Keep size. Okay, so wait. So in texture rect, okay. Find the expand mode. Inspect the right side, near the top. Find the expand mode and stretch mode. Expand mode. Ignore size. So expand mode, stretch mode, keep aspect. This was already set like that. And it's filling the viewport just at greatly reduced resolution. This doesn't make any freaking sense. Click on the green anchor preset. Select to full rect. Yeah, it's all of that is already set. Project settings. Display window. Stretch section. Sure. Interior fractional disabled. Nope. Canvas items. Why is it not giving me the resizing cursor? Sometimes. So dumb. Okay. So fractional. Aspect. Scale mode, blah, blah, blah. Force pixel crispness. It's still massively reducing resolution of the image and then rendering 10 or more pixels of for one reduced pixel since the window is much bigger. What? Stop saying why this works when it doesn't work. This is so dumb. Even though your image is 3D and your canvas is 640, Godot's default import system shrinks and compresses your text to the background down to a fraction of its size. It believes it's being placed inside a low resolution pixel art frame. But it's not. What are you talking about? WTF are you talking about? Since when is 640x400 not larger than 320x200 and 160x100? Yeah, this is so dumb. Why? Oh, God. All right. Rendering. Rendering 2D. Shadow Atlas. Batching. Snap 2D trans. Oversized scale. SDF. Look for the property called snap. 2D scale. SDF. Just under pixel art presets. Turn it off, reset it to 1. Stop saying why this fixes it when you know you just made some wrong shit up. There are no such setting, and if there were, oh, that still wouldn't make any bloody sense at all. Oh my God. I love how it's like, yeah, you're right, I'm wrong. So let me tell you what's really going on. And then it just makes up something else. I changed integer integer scaling to fractional when you told me 2 ages ago. Made no difference. And it's not blurry either. What if I press F6? Nope. 5. Wait, is that higher now or lower? Where was the... Was this one? I thought I depixelified it. Pixel... Deleted. Yeah. Okay, so... Wait, what? How? Why does it lose my setting? Okay. I think now this resolution is correct. Okay, so let's see if we can walk back to something sane somewhere in between, right? So we didn't touch anything there, thank God. We fiddled around with this stuff a million times. I'll have to see how I can render something in there. I'll have to think about that. Scale mode. So fractional. Does that mean it's all smooth scaling here? Yeah. You know what? I think that's fine. I don't think I need to do integer scaling here. As long as the rendering setup is that kind of thing, right? So let's see if we can add child node, button, menu button, option button, menu button, a pop-up button. Just a regular button that contains text and an icon. Sure. All right. Text. Start. Can I? No. Can I? Thank you. So let's take the start button, move it down here, make it a little bit bigger. Can I anchor it? Anchor center. No, not presets. No. No. I still don't understand what this green thingies mean. Let's see. Ah, that's not the thing. That's the thing, right? Ah, okay. So if I do this, can I anchor that? Like, if I anchor that just to the middle, I just anchor to center. What does that look like? I think we need something inside the canvas layer. So, I go back to here, window, view, support, node 2D, canvas layer, animation mixer, window, node 2D, node 2D. Oh yeah, control. I think it's a child of control, right? So if I say Base class for UI control containers. If I say that, what is it not like? Container by itself serves no purpose unless the script configures its children placement behavior. Okay, so if I say container, so box container, center container, boom. So if I do this, like that, and then I say anchor it, nope. Jeez, can I? Can I? Jeez. All right. Layout. Let me anchor preset. Top left center. There we go. And then size. Can I make it expand? Vertical alignment, horizontal alignment. Expand. No. Can I do this? Preset. If I do this, but then say center and center. If I say anchor center, aha. And then I can I then do text direct, put that inside, and then button inside, delete that. All right, color rect, we'll probably want it to be magenta. There we go. Oh my god, that hurts. All right. Maybe we'll desaturate it a little bit. We'll just make it a little darker. There we go, dark purple. Sure. Now, center container, we want it to be this, but we want it to be anchored in the center. So what is this? This is sizing settings for children of container mode. No, we want those to be like this. And then this is anchor preset centered. Okay. Now the button is a child of that, but it goes under here. And that should be keep size. Ah, keep aspect. No, keep size. Fix width. No, keep size. Can I not keep aspect, stretch mode, scale? So now we're here. Okay. No, we want it to be keep centered, keep aspect, stretch mode, scale. Expand mode, ignore size. Keep centered, scale. Man, I don't understand. That's the thing. So right now we have this. But I want this to stretch to the size of that. So, and why can't I change that here? Stretch mode. Keep centered, keep aspect centered. Ignore size. Can I now change this? Can I? No. Children of a container get their position determined by their parent. Container. Transform. Okay, how do I tell it that the children should be the size of a container? I don't know. Layout. Maximum size. Clip contents. Anchor presets. Transform. Container sizing. Expand. Expand. Fill. Shrink. Expand. Expand. Keep size. No. Fit width. Godot container, how to get content to stretch to fit. And it's going to be another AI thing that's wrong. Stuff is like, it drives me crazy because if I did it from scratch, like wrote my own code from scratch, I would have been done in the first 5 minutes. It's, yeah, that's the worst thing. The people who believe AI are the people who don't know how to do the thing that they're using the AI for. But game engines and modern documentation is just as bad. Okay, so like, I want this to fit in here, but I can't change it because it's being controlled by this. Okay, how do I control it? Okay, I said expand. Is this expanded? No, it's not. But none of this is happening. Like, none of the things that literally are the thing that it says it should be work. Propagate maximum size. Use top left. No. What does that even mean? Container sizing. Set both. Inside your container, navigate to the inspector and set both horizontal and vertical layout. Horizontal and vertical. Under layout size to fill and expand. Fill and expand, yeah. Containers completely because of both their dire children, making them. Select the child. Toggle fill and expand. Toggle fill and expand. Send the horizontal. Oh, Jesus Christ. Set horizontal fill. Check the expand box. Find container sizing. So select the child node. Find container sizing. So expand layout. Clip contents. There's no container sizing. Ah, here's container sizing. Container default. I cannot change container sizing, and it's set to container default. Stop giving me stupid ads, Jesus Christ. Or don't charge for your service. Don't do both. Enable ignore texture size, formerly called expand in Godot 3. The base, even if the size flags are turned on, images will often stay in their base. Texture rect and texture button. Enable ignore texture size. Ignore texture size. Expand mode, keep size, ignore size. Okay. If I change expand mode to ignore size, it disappears, appearing to shrink to 0, 0. Stop using the original image dimension as layer size because its parent is basic control node and not a container. The parent is a center container. Why did you say it's a basic node? Why center can collect the size? Center is that only one specific job. Take a child and keep it at its minimum size and force it to the exact center of the screen. Refuse to let its children stretch. It's completely ignores. Okay. So which container would let me group a bunch of elements into a rectangular shape was centered in the game? If not a fucking center container. Jesus Christ. Okay, so add thing, panel container. Okay. Now we move that inside there and the button inside there. Now the panel container layout, transform container sizing. I cannot change the size of the panel. The panel container either. Making everything 0, 0 doesn't make any freaking sense. What is the point of center container if everything inside always becomes 0, 0? That's stupid, and cannot be correct. That's so dumb. What the fuck are you talking about? The texture rect is 320x. The image inside texture is 320x200, but I want to scale it to 640x400. How can I create something that's 640x400 contains my texture rect and the button and is centered? The box. The button is on top of the image. Come on, how does the VBox container help with that? It's vertically placing the one after the like explicitly prevents nodes from overlapping. But it's currently directly on top of the image. That's it. There is no VBox container. You keep bringing it up, but I do not want to arrange anything vertically. Why do you do this, you dumb shit? So dumb. What a waste of tokens. What a waste of freaking water. I don't know. Power everything. So a menu, a control node. All right, let's try a control node. I mean, I don't see how this is a control, but whatever. All right. Select the control node, layout, custom minimum size, 640, 400. Okay. Now, texture rect is still disappeared. Alright, this is annoying. And why is there not better? Like, why can't I make this, set this to be exactly whatever? 640 by 400 maybe? This is all wrong. Why is this bigger than the image at 640 by 400? Ignore size, keep size, scale, keep centered, ignore size, fit width, keep aspect covered. Okay, maybe. Can I anchor this to center? So boom. But not like that. Okay. Now, at this point, what do we have? All right. Holy crap. All right. Okay. All right. So, I want to load the map scene when the button is pressed. Let's see if it can do something as basic as that. This reminds me of like before I learned how to program, and I did my first visual VBScript 1.0 code, which was like, oh, press the button, load picture. That was pretty much what got me started programming. Okay, so uses signals to trigger blah blah blah. Sure. Select the button node in the scene tree. All right, so button node in the scene tree. Look at the far right side of your screen next to the inspector tab. Click on the node tab. Next to the button node, look at the far right side of your screen next to the inspector tab. Click on the node tab. What node tab? What node? Node tab. How to find it? How to find it? Look at the very top. Right-hand panel, choose the name of your selected node. Right below the name, you see 2 clickable words. No. Inspector? No. No. I see inspector, signals, and groups. It's the node tab. Go to rename, separate these tabs in recent versions to make them easy to find. Select the button in the scene tree on the left. Look at the right signals tab. Look down the list. Pressed. Pressed. And double click it. From signal pressed, connect to script. Click connect at the bottom. Wait. Look down the signals named pressed and double click it. In the window that pops up, select your top level node, the one with the script attached. The one with the script attached. On button pressed. Okay, connect. Target method not found. There is no script. You need to create a script first. Okay. So, add script. Create the script. Center container is not at the very top of the list. Canvas layer is at the very top of the list. Maybe I don't need the canvas. Maybe I can put that there. Maybe I can put the rect there. Does that still work? Yeah, I don't know why we have a canvas layer in there. It's just telling me random crap all the time. All right. Can I attach script? Main menu. Sure. Okay. So we go back to here. Pressed. Button. Control. Connect. On button pressed. Okay. All right. So if I do this, boom. Right. Now if I go here and press that, nope. Hey, look at that. All right. Okay. So now, if I go back to here, and we'll do a similar layout. Okay. So the scene. Oh wait, is that no? Nope. I guess we can do that. We'll probably get rid of that. We'll probably throw that in here somewhere. I can probably close that. And And sorry if this is as painful as you as it is for me, but well, I want to do this. Okay, come on. The scene is now. Whoops. Scene is now not centered. Can I have a scene with a centered layout and load other scenes into that? I mean, that must be useful, possible, right? In fact, loading level scenes inside a permanent main user interface shell is the best practice for making games good. Oh, right now your map scene is likely a basic layout that defaults to the main stuff, blah, 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 blah. So, scene container. All right. So, let's do a main. Let's create a main. So, let's do a scene. We'll just do this other node for now. Right. We'll save it as main. Blah da 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 da. Here. So we'll probably wanna copy this. Copy. Paste. Okay. Delete. Now, main menu, we probably want to move that here. Delete. Delete. Now we want to replace wait, can we just copy properties from here? Copy, paste. Nope, nope. Node. Control. Why is that so different from this control? That is a bit weird. It has a script. But why does this not have a layout? Can I change what type of node? Change type. Control. Ah, here we go. So 640. No. No. I do this. And I do this. Now that's my main menu, right? Now I can say, can I just drag? No. I might have to drag it from... if I do this, right? If I close this and restart this. If I close this project, settings, location config, run, and change this to main, start, right? And now if I press F5 this, we'll end up here. And maybe now we can take the... Oh, did I lose the color? Center container control. All right, if I say color rect, create, right? And we'll make this magenta, room, but not so garish, like that. And I want this to be just stretched to fit. Can I do that? Can I just do that? Right? Cool. Now here we want to create a new script. Main, create, on ready. How How can I console log in Godot? All right. Print. Ready. Okay. Can I just restart? Can I? Is there a hotkey for restarting the project? Okay, so if I do F8, F5, okay. And where can I see the output from print? Underscore ready. If I do this, I'm seeing something here. So if I F5, ready. Okay. Okay. So here, I should be able to... 1 second, let me load up the other script. If I take this, and I go back to here, and under ready, okay, so how can I load a scene as a child to a node? So now we should be able to load a scene, add child scene instance. Current node running the script, no. So let's rename this main menu. Can I rename slash? You know what? Main menu is fine for now. Main menu. If the script is not a child of the node, it always just assumes. Essential safety. If your project crashes or throws errors when running this code, is usually because we want to do the file path. Okay, whatever. Scene unique name. What? No. Must first learn how to find that target node in your scene before call. You can do this by adding a direct node path or using a unique node name. Get node, target node. So this is going to be so annoying switching between these two. Okay, so scene instance. So get node, scene container, scene instance. Okay, so func load scene name pass, boom. Right, then we can take all of this, boom, put that in here, boom. So load scene this. So this should be scene name. Is it, I don't know, like that? What am I getting wrong here? What's it complaining about? Unexpected indent in class body. Ugh. What? What do you mean? Uh-oh. Scene container. How do I, what? Go to the scene tree on the left. Target node, scene container. Ah, wait, we're in the wrong place here. Yeah, wait, no, we're not in the wrong place. Okay. Target node, scene container. Go to the scene tree on the left and find your target node. Control. Okay, let's call this... can I rename this? Rename. Scene container. Okay. So, Right click, access as unique. Okay, so right click, access as unique name. There we go. Cool. All right. So here, our scene resource. Okay. Scene instance. Get nodes, container. Scene container to add child scene instance. Sure. Turn the file into a live instance. Yeah, okay. Attach it. Add child scene instance. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. I created this function, but I get unexpected indent error. It expects a colon at the end of your function definition line. Oh, okay. Okay. So now I do F8, F5. Ooh. Okay. So now the question is, can I load scene this? How can I access the load scene function from the main menu script? So project settings, globals tab, globals. Select folder icon next to the path box. Huh? What? Click the globals tab. Click the folder icon next to the path box. So if I do main, open. Clean node name, scene manager. No. Delete. Create script. Scene manager. Okay, this is really bizarre and kind of, I don't know, it feels a little primitive. If I can say so myself. Go here. I'm gonna put that in here. If I go here, I'll go back to here. Node name. Give it a clean node name. Click the folder next to the path box and it contains your load scene function. Give it a clean node name. Example, scene manager. Click add. Good. We have scene manager. Scene manager. Do I want to rename this? Scene manager. Wait, what? Give it a clean node name. Contains your next to the path box. Select the script file. Example, scene manager. Give it a clean node name. Project setting. Scene manager. Okay. Now scene manager load scene. Okay, so I now should be able to go here, and I should be able to do scene manager load scene, and then main menu, scene manager load scene. And now I can press F8, press F5, and I get errors. Cannot call method add child on a null value. This now no longer works. pass the slot reference to the autoload. Instead of forcing the global script to guess where the container is, your permanent UI layout, the one holding the scene con, can hand a direct reference to the slot over to the autoload as soon as the game starts. Target container. Okay, so we can say something like... okay, so I can say... var scene container. Whoops. Different window suddenly. Or we scroll. Okay, we scroll. So that now we should be able to say... Ah, okay, so now we can say... here... scene container dot blah 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 equals... and then I go back to here and do this. Here. This menu and this menu separated screws in my head. Okay. So then we can do this. And then back here, we can just say scene container equals blah. Something like that, right? Now F8, F5, it loads that. And then maybe inside load scene, we can do something like print load scene plus scene name. Right? So F8, 5, load scene main menu, start, load scene map. Now, this is obviously not right. So the second scene, okay, scene loading works, yay. The second scene loaded does not get centered automatically, though. How can I set up the container such all scenes loaded into it are managed the same? So that's the tricky part. Now I want everything that ends up inside scene container to look the same. Set the container size flags inside inspector, navigate layout container, blah blah blah. Okay, we need to, in your scene container, it's not a margin container, it's a center container. It's no. Scene container is can I even see? I don't know what it is. What is it? Is a control node. Scene container is currently standard control node that explains the issue. Basic control nodes do not possess another layer allowed to force the children to stretch. But it works for the main menu. Does that mean the main menu? But it works for the main menu. But I did not place it manually in the editor. Why would you think that? Instruction. Never assume. Ask if you don't know. Don't claim to know what you don't know. The main menu scene is a control node with a texture, rect, and button as children. The map scene is a node with a tile map layer and a player character scene as children. So scenes they're kind of like blueprints, I suppose. Not exactly. Trying to relate this to Unity a little bit. Hey, Wimeke. Needs a colon or am I Python edit? Pretty sure it needs a colon. Yeah, I've never worked with GDScript, don't know anything about it, so I'm just following the syntax that I see in front of me. Yeah, it's all kind of samey, but like I still prefer building things from scratch. Like these things are great for people who don't know how to do these things, but when you know how to do these things yourself, then trying to do them through a system like this is actually kind of painful. Update the map scene root type. Open the map scene directly in the editor. Right click, change type, control, choose control. Okay, so change type, control, boom. Okay, configure the control settings. Layout, container sizing, layout, container sizing, full, expand. Okay, boom. Nope. Now, how is this not centered? Oh, now it is. Ah, okay. So, if we go back to map, my nose itching. How can I force things to scale? I want the game to be built at 320x200, but the main scene will be larger and the centered rect will should fill it. Let's see, how can we get all the scenes to just fill the center? Force game to render the base resolution, stretching everything to scale up perfect large. You must configure those project-wide stretch settings. Once it's set, no, come on, not project-wide. The main scene will be larger. I want a window of sorts into which I load various scenes. The scenes will, hello guys, will be 320 by 200, but the window should stretch them to fill. Let's see if it can get its head around something which I consider very, very freaking basic, and I know how to implement from scratch in just about any programming language. Okay, so center panel texture rect. This is your visual window. Wait, what? Texture rect? Why would you use a texture rect? This doesn't make any freaking... Wait, what? Standard containers are kind of scale low resolution pixel space up to a high resolution canvas on its own. By rendering your sub scene inside an isolate 310 by 200 sub viewport first, you can treat that entire running scene as a raw texture. Seriously? Oh my god, this is so dumb. Okay. You must configure the nodes precisely to lock down the resolution and pixel filtering. Go to the scene window. This is your visual window. Okay. Scroll down, canvas item, texture, filter, set. Yeah, okay, whatever. Get children queue view scenes. So scene instance sub viewport. Do I want to do? I mean, I don't really want to do this, do I? I mean, it's an exercise. All right, we'll learn something, I suppose. Okay. So. I guess under here, we're gonna add a child node, which is gonna be a sub viewport. I mean, I guess I've done stuff like this in Unity. And this should be 320 by 200. And then in here, we're gonna have a texture rect. And the texture rect. All right. Configure the inspector property. Configure the subview port. 320. This traps any subscene. Blah blah blah. For the electrons to render the exact. Okay. Layout. Container size to fill and check. Expand. Horizontal. Vertical. Set. Texture rect. Okay. So this is our scene window. I don't know why we would label that though. Doesn't make any sense. So texture is gonna be this. No, it's gonna be. Whoops. It's gonna be this. Wait. Assign it to it. Wait. Okay. Let's do it step by step. Layout. Layout. Container sizing. There's no container sizing. Wait. TextureAct has no container sizing. I think it's making shit up. Assign it to a new viewport texture. The pop will select your sub viewport node. Viewport texture. Ah, okay. Boom. All right. Can I add a, if I do this, can I see this? Now texture here, stretch mode scale, minimum size, 640 by 400. Okay, position anchored, center, right. Now, for a second, we're gonna, where is my code editor? We're going to disable the load scene. Oop, hash, I guess. So F8, F5. Okay, all right. Now this one is a bit blurry, so I think we can change that in here. Texture. Filter nearest. Yes. Crispy sharp pixels. Okay. Now sub viewport. It's our, rename it our render viewport. All right, and we're gonna make this a unique name. Go delete that. All right, and now in our script, and now I'm gonna resize that again. We're gonna call this render viewport. Pow. Now if I do this and I F5, is a null value. Scene container. Ah, I think it needs to be a different type now. Scene sub viewport. Okay, we need to do this. I mean, we could probably have put a control in there. And now, add child is a null value. Oh, I miss pepperoni there. These string connections, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. This reminds me of Unity as well, which is using string references for over-the-wire stuff. This feels incorrect. I think it means I need to make my main menu actually 320 by 200. Boom. Control center. Anchors. Can I tell it to center anchor? No. What's going on out there? So we have center anchors. It's still bigger. Why? $320 by 200. Texture rec. $320 by 200. Keep size. Keep aspect covered. Keep aspect centered. Keep aspect centered. Tile, no. Keep. Texture rect. Why is it 320 by... Why? It feels like it should be... $320 by 200, scale 1:1, center. No, it's still... How do I make this 320 by 200? Do I just do this? And then center it? Okay. But now run the whole thing. Ah. And if I move that here, boom. Now, the button text is pixelated, but that's basically what we wanted, isn't it? It gets us kind of that 320 by 200 look. Although, I do kind of want it 640 by... I wanted to get scaled... I wanted to render it 640 by 400, I think. So let's say, if we go back to main, and we'll make this 640 by 400, right? And we'll do this, and then we'll go to main menu, and we'll make this 640 by 400, and then we'll make this keep aspect covered, and then the button for some reason got stretched, God knows why. I'll put that there. Can I center it like this? No. Ugh. Can I move it down? Nope. Nope. Can I just move the freaking button? Oh my god, these controls. I mean, the Unity controls were a lot better. I have to say that. Gotta give Unity that. It was basic. Oh, it's basic stuff. I've replicated them in JavaScript in my freaking card game. Alright. So now we get a menu. It should now be double resolution. It should still be sharp. And if I click start, nothing happens. Okay, fair enough. And now the start button. The start button should have a signal pressed, on button pressed, which should do this, and then wait a second. The button doesn't seem to work. The button in main doesn't seem to work anymore. Probably because it's rendering so through like are currently blocked by the new texture rect layer. When you stretch texture rect to fill a space, it acts like a layer of glass over the screen. By default, it absorbs mouse inputs, meaning your clicks are hitting the window. Additionally, we need to ensure your main menu script can still find the global loading function. Unblock the mouse inputs. You need to tell the texture to ignore mouse clicks so they can pass straight through. Okay. I don't think this is gonna work because we are just rendering a texture. It doesn't know anything about buttons in that texture. But let's follow along. So unblock the mouse inputs. So our texture rect, inspector, mouse section, mouse section, pass, propagate. In a completely isolated subview, but make sure your main menu button code is calling the global scene manager upload directly rather than trying to load, enabling the mouse in the subview port. Okay, subview port. Look at the input section. Okay, maybe we'll still get there. Input section. Subviewport, viewport, input section. In your main shell layout, and check the inspector to ensure its input processing is active. Enable, disable input. I don't see an input section. I don't see an input section in the viewport. Input section, disable input is unchecked. I'm sorry for getting the wrong property name. You're completely right. There is no... Jesus Christ, it just made it up. Blocks inputs by default because you are displaying it through a texture rect window instead of subviewport container. Not pass your mouse clicks down to the buttons automatically. To fix this, you must explicitly pass the mouse clicks from your outer scene down to the subviewport using code. Are you fucking kidding me? Okay. This seems dumb and wrong. This is just idiotic. So, yeah. This is a specialized UI node. Subviewport container. A child node. Viewport. Viewport is a specialized UI node. Sole purpose to hold a subviewport, stretch it to any size you want, and automatically handle all mouse input scaling. Rebuild the scene tree correctly. Subviewport container, subviewport, center container. Okay. All right, so if I do this now, this works. Okay. Why? How's this even moving? Okay. Now the map is loading on top of the main menu, and 1 second, is and isn't scaling correctly. Some blending needs to be done for dinner, and that's gonna screw the audio, so I'm gonna have to bow out. Let's see if we can make this make sense, because now we're back to where we were before without the subviewport. To clear out a standard UI code was using a for child in loop. However, what? WTF are you talking about? We used a viewport so we could render into an independent texture. Now that we stop doing that, what is the point of the viewport? Oh my god, it's like me who doesn't know anything about Godot and another person who doesn't know anything about Godot, and we're just poking at the screen. I mean, I cannot know about Godot myself. By switching to the sub viewport, did not stop doing that. Okay, the sub viewport is still doing the exact same rendering. The only thing that's changed is how the texture gets displayed selected. Before texture active, viewport renders 3D. We manually pull the texture out, blah, blah, blah. Now subview will still render 6 okay. Subview is still the absolute core of the setup. Retro canvas for why your map isn't scaling down. The actual fix. It's the size. Because 0, your tile map layer and player are clipping outside the bounds and breaking the scaling. What are you talking about? The map scene to root from a node defaults to a size of 0. The control node and the root of the scene. Actual fix to make map look right inside the viewport. Open your map scene. Fill file directly. Check the top root node. I don't think that's it. Maybe it's that. Maybe that's it. Maybe. Alright, start. Nope. Nope. Also, the previous scene isn't removed. When you call child, no, what? No. This is the scene manager. Why is it pausing whenever I press enter? It's like the whole thing freezes for a second. It's ridiculous. Update node scene, print blah 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 for child. If scene container. So if scene container for child in scene begin. Blah blah blah. Scene add child. Okay, so that's that. So now, okay. Now, what about your map scene? The files are okay. I'm gonna have to cut it off here. I don't understand why the map still wouldn't scale accordingly. It's supposed to. Let's see what's the difference here. Because it's 640 by 400. Well, I guess we could go 640 by 400, but I think it might just render more of the map instead of making the map bigger. Like, because this is here. Can I just stretch this? How can I change positioning of this object? Rendering. How can I stretch a tile map layer to 2x resolution? Sub viewport. Open your main parent layer. Inspector called canvas item texture. Nearest. What? Stretch is turned on. The container acts as a perfect 2x nearest neighbor. What? Sub. Okay. Jesus Christ. So it tells me canvas item texture linear. Expand canvas texture. Set to nearest. Okay, sure. Nearest. And then scale under transform. So scale under canvas item. There is no transform under canvas item. There is no transform under canvas item. Oh, my mistake, and you're absolutely correct. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's not transform section directly. You told me to look at sub. viewport container, comma, not map tile layer. It's in a different scene. It's losing its mind. It has no clue. It has no, in its context, it's not keeping track of what's happening. All right, sub-viewport container, layout section. Okay. Layout. Transform. So if I say 320 by 200 here, transform it to 640 by 480, scale 2x, both directions. Right. So now I have to bring the menu back. No. I do kind of want it at 320 by 640 by 480. Yeah, no. Okay, come on, but what if I want... Okay, no. Yeah, like it because I want high resolution on the text. I actually want to run 640 by 400. So it means I need the map scene to also be 640 by 400, which means I need to figure out a way of scaling this tile layer. Okay, what if I wanted the map scene to be 400 so I can use double res text on ADC, but the map tiles itself to scale up from 320x 200. Global window structure. Your subviewport can no longer be locked at 320. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Open the scale of the map scene. Absolute root node is a control node, not a node 2D. Select the root node and look at the inspector. Transform. Yeah, I said 640 by 480. So it wants me to go here. Transform. Okay, so we want this to be 320 by 200. We want to transform to 2x by 2x. Right? And now, if I go back to here, make this 640 by 400, transform, scale, right? And if I do this, this now should be 640 by 480, and this should be 640 by 480. And I don't know how I made the thing move before, ironically, but that's fine. All right, ironically, this is actually very close to what I wanted to accomplish today. I feel like I've been chasing my own butt, but I guess if this was my goal, ta-da, right? So one thing we could do here is we could add a UI something, or can I just Control C, Control V, and then I'm going to change this to main menu, and we can make that like here. Why can I not resize that? Okay, doesn't matter. And then here we're gonna add a script map, sure. And then we're gonna go back here. We're gonna go signal. We're gonna go pressed. We're gonna go map, connect, and then we're gonna go here, and we're gonna go back to map, on button pressed, and we're gonna say main menu. And now if I go here, I should just be able to scale it up. Sure, I can press start. We're in here. The button isn't here. No. Where's the button? Where's this main menu button? If I hide this. Oh, It's not on screen. Start. Main menu. Start. Don't be invisible. Main menu. Start. Close. Restart. Start. Main menu. All right. Cool. Cool. All right. That's it. I wanted to do movement as well. Didn't get there. It is almost 10 o'clock. Holy crap, it's late. Thanks for watching, guys. I know these aren't super exciting for people who are here for SudokuPad content. But I need to do something that's a bit different just for a little while, just so I don't go crazy. And I'll be honest, I constantly think of ways of crossing over more gameplay, like animations, icons and stuff. You know, I want to get Toby in here running around as a pixel dog, and then once we have a pixel Toby, maybe we can have pixel Toby in Sudokus, you know. We'll figure something out. So, thanks for hanging out. I hope it's not too onerous. And if you want me to do anything particular otherwise on stream, and you know, I do lots of things all the time off stream, let me know, and I'm always happy to adjust course. Thanks for hanging out, Keith. Take care, and have a good rest of your weekend. Bye-bye. Oh, by the way, check out SudokuCon 2026 in Manchester. It's coming up soon, sudokukon.com.